Okay, we are ready.
All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the NBAR meeting, North County NBAR. Is there anyone in our audience that wants to speak on anything that's not in on today's agenda?
We do not have any public comment.
Seeing no public comment, is there any members that need to recuse themselves from any of the items on today's agenda?
Nope. No.
Thank you all. Agenda status report. Has there been any changes to the agenda?
We do not have any changes.
Thank you. Minutes from the last meeting. Have you all had a chance to look over them? Any changes or omissions, inclusions?
Yeah, I had one, Mr. Chairman. I didn't see, I thought I requested if we can get a 3D model of that, of the house, the Desai Family Trust, single family dwelling. I didn't see in the minutes.
I didn't remember that comment, but you want that added in the public comments? NBAR comments, I'm sorry, not public.
That's all. Thank you.
Any other changes? Can we entertain a motion to accept the minutes as
So moved.
second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Abstained. I wasn't there.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. In the NBAR informational briefings, do we have any?
Let's see. Do you have any?
No, I don't have any.
Oh, okay.
Okay, no briefings. Staff updates? Any staff updates that we need to know about?
I have a quick one. The Constellation project in Vandenberg Village area is scheduled for the Planning Commission on July 30th. It may move to a week or two later, depending on if something comes up in the review cycles, but it is on that agenda currently. That's the only update I had.
Okay, thank you. And that's it. All we now have the items at hand. So,
Pardon me, Chairman. Can we request turning the lights down just a little bit?
yeah, they are a little bright.
Thank you. Not sure where it is.
Probably over here next to me.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. There you go, Teresa. Thank you.
Last call.
All right. First item on our agenda is 23 bar 00183 Firebird Properties LLC Child Care Center. Are the agents for this project available?
Good morning. My name is Patricia Keelan, CEO for Communify, and yes, we are available today. I'm joined by Jennifer McDonald, who is the Director of Children's Services for Communify, and Frank Thompson.
Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Would you like to start your presentation?
Yes, we are working with Frank Thompson to build the Barista Encina Head Start Center. Communify has been providing Head Start services since 1967. This facility will allow us to expand childcare, affordable early education and childcare services to the Mission Hills area of Lompoc. We are looking to build the facility at 1498 Burson Mesa Boulevard. The facility will include 4 classrooms, 1 for infants, 1 for toddlers, and 2 classrooms for preschoolers and pre-K. It will include a kitchen and laundry room, a staff room, separate restrooms for staff and children, a storage room, and a full playground for each age group. I will allow Jennifer McDonald to give you a brief overview of the Head Start model.
Good morning. Head Start provides comprehensive early care and education with a multi-generational approach. So we serve children and families that are below the federal poverty guidelines. And we provide not only early care and education, but we also provide parenting resources, community connections, and health services and meals to children enrolled in the program. We are a full year, full day program that works to serve the working families in the community. And our centers operate throughout Santa Barbara County, and operation hours are dependent on parents' needs. So we have centers that can be open from 6:30 to 5, and it just depends on the community needs assessments at that time. At the Mission Hills location, we plan on serving children birth to 5, as Pat described, with an infant room, children 3 months to 18 months, a toddler room 18 months to 3 years of age, and 2 preschool classrooms with ages 3 to 5 years old. I'm not sure you have any questions.
I have a quick question. Are you a nonprofit?
We are a nonprofit.
Yes, we are a 503c1 nonprofit organization. 501c3 nonprofit organization. We were established in 1967, and to date, we've served over 55,000 children and youth through the Head Start program.
Thank you.
So this is the third time we've seen this particular project, correct?
I think
So,
Yes, that is correct. We presented to this committee in March, I believe, of 2024.
I believe there was one time before that, if I'm not mistaken. I think this is the third time we've actually seen it. So we had, because we already had a list of questions and concerns about the project, and we were hoping that you were going to go through those concerns and then possibly move forward in the process. Are you ready to do that today?
I believe that Frank Thompson was going to address those concerns. Frank?
Oh, good morning. I'm actually Pablo Romero. I represent the architect of record for Frank Thompson, RJC Inc. And so, yes, we will be presenting the architectural, the incorporation of, or rather how our project intertwines with the adjoining structures, with the surroundings, and with the massing and architectural language of the surrounding structures.
Excuse me, is your architect present?
So yeah, so this is just over 3,800 square feet structure. We are located right now. This is part of a subdivision. The original parcel it's in the process of being subdivided, and the rest of the property is being developed. It's right now in progress of obtaining a building permit for the development of low-income housing. And so this would be an integrated approach, although as part of a different parcel, but rather an integrated architectural proposal. In parallel, there's also a development west of the childcare center. That's in its infancy. It's basically in zoning process right now, but it's still, again, part of the recomposition of this of this site. And these were part of the comments that were requested from us to explain how this was interacting with the adjoining properties. And so, yes, we are providing some general images. Can we go to the next sheet, please? These are the images of the existing. The previous one were for the parcel. This is the surrounding architecture, or the points of reference in the community. And the first one we got is the adjoining property A. That's a strip mall that's right west of our property. I'm sorry if I cannot read the. Got it. Just west of our parcel. Then we have some other reference points, such as Queen of Angels Church, which is also just across the street from Rucker Road, west of our property, Mission Hills Community Center, so forth. A service building that's right at the corner of Vernon Mesa and Rucker Road, and some other structures. In the bottom, you see this is the approach that we're taking for Brisa Encina, which is the development project that we got, as I mentioned, on building permit right now. It's a 2-story pre-manufactured but finished on-site development for studios, 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom apartments with a mission style architecture, Spanish Revival, you can call it, or mission style. And can we scroll down a bit on the screen? Can we scroll down just to see the bottom of the sheet there? Thanks so much. Oh, just a bit.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Yes. And the bottom portion, that's what's being developed west of the site on the adjoining property. That's a 3-story studios, 3-story, 1 building, 3 stories. Again, following with a similar approach in terms of the architectural language. So this is how we tie into the most adjoining properties, and also the architectural references, which are really, simple architecture, nothing to be establishing a great parameter of something that we need to follow. And additionally, they're not, too close to really establish a guideline in terms of how the imagery needs to be set. And so we are focusing more on what's adjoining immediately to our site, and that's the way we're approaching the project. I think we go to the next screen, please. To the next sheet, rather. And here we see the green parcel. That is the childcare center parcel, and then the purple one, that's Brisa Encina. That's the low-income housing project. And then west of it is Plaza de la Bandera, with a commercial building that's going to be a part of that second or independent project that's in zoning right now. So we are establishing a series of, can I annotate here? Yes, I think I can. So we're establishing a series of connections, interconnections in terms of how you can traverse from one side to the other. And in order to do that, we are establishing easements to provide access to the multitude of parcels here. So we will be sharing access with Brisa Encina in here, and that is being established as an easement. And then because of fire requirements, we're also going to be creating another easement on the adjoining property to be able to make this this in and out circulation that will be, of course, a fire access, but also will be, which is not required per se. We do have a T return here, for Breeze Encina. I mean, we are solved without that connection, but this connection provides additional fluidity to traffic for fire requirements, but also for the childcare itself, as it will allow people to be able to access and drop off kids here at ease. The gray mass in the lower left corner, that is the existing commercial building. Next sheet, please. This is now our actual site plan. And so we have a building, the 3,840 square feet structure, and the open space sitting right next to it, which is east. We are providing drop-off space for kids in the mornings, afternoons, and a series of exclusive parking stalls at the north end. However, it is worth mentioning that we will be having, because there is no definition, no gates or anything like that, these parking stalls could be used, on a day use or night use, depending, they could be added to Brisa Encina's parking. Next sheet, please. In terms of the architecture, if we could zoom into the upper one, please. We are also working here with a modular approach. We have a series of 8 modules, which will be pre-manufactured, shipped to the site, and just like typical school pre-manufactured structures. However, we understand that these are not the most appealing structures, and so the way we are addressing this in terms and trying to create this architecture that would really tie in with the adjoining elements, we are creating what could be defined as a furred wall. It's not really a furred wall, but rather a site-built wall from the bottom up. But just imagine the concept of furring, and that will be built all along the north and the east end, which are the most exposed parts of the building. So all these two will be built up on site. We do not want to create structurally, we don't want to overload the modules with added structures on top of it. So that's why we're building it separate from the bottom up and installed on site. And by virtue of doing this, we are creating a new facade and parapet walls and all of that really allows us to create something interesting. Other than that, we have just a couple of gable structures, one to create the front entry, which is on the north end, and a second one that creates the connection between the east wing and the open space. I don't think it's, this board is too interested in the internal architecture, but if there's any questions, we can further explain this if need be. Next, please. This is our roof plan. So basically, yeah, we're just creating a couple of roof lines. One is the main roof, and then the gable structures. And so this is the north elevation. This is our main entry on the upper left corner. One of the things that we're doing here is incorporating the corporate some of the corporate elements of Head Start, such as some colors. Of course, we're incorporating the logo, but also we're trying to bring some of these this color taste into some of the elements in there. But at the same time, we're continuing with some of the architectural language in terms of the striping at the bottom, the base stripe of that reddish oxide red color at the bottom, which is consistent with what we are doing next door at Breeze Encina. And we're also using this gabled roof tile, which gabled roofs with roof tile, which again go hand in hand with what we're doing next door. And so as you see, the most attractive elements are running along the north end and the east end. It's not like the others are not of interest. It's just that that's where the most of the focus is going. Other than that, we are also providing a series of different treatments for fencing, some garden espalier for to seclude the parking from the street from public view and such. Can we open up the screen, please? There you go. This is a more detailed description of how we're approaching that main axis, which is again just a protruding structure with a gabled roof treated in tile and roof tile, and the rest is basically just finished in stucco and paint. Can we zoom out on the screen, please? Oh yeah, next to the right, please. To the right, that's a section detail. So can you zoom in on detail 3, please? So this is our typical approach of those north and east walls. So you will see to the left, that's the structure of the modular, and then the site built elements are on the right hand. So basically, from this point onward, that's pre-manufactured. From this point onward, that's built on site, and that's what creates the character to the building. And yes, is there a final sheet of this one? Okay, yeah, and this is landscape. I don't want to talk about landscape. This is not my area of expertise. However, can you take it to the previous one? Just one minor thing. So we are providing definitely a series of plants that are within the local palette. You see that we have some shade screens along the perimeter, some more elements that are thinner, but still provide some screening and shade along the south end. And if we could slide a little bit to the top so we can see across the parking. I just want to point out this element. We do have a couple of fence lines. One that's kind of a post and rail that runs along here to give more of a rural theme, which is consistent with the perimeter of our fencing, and it's received some more informal planting. And then we have a second element here, which is basically an espalier to just receive creeping plants to provide screening of the parking from the street. So we have a two-layered approach of how this is being seen from the street. And again, I don't want to go deep into the details of the planting itself or the that will be more in the field of the landscape architect. Yes, and can we move now? You have the color board right next. You please. So yeah, we are, as mentioned, we are keeping consistent. So our 3 first colors, that's consistent with the color palette for Breeze Encina. However, we're adding some colorful elements to some of the window trims to create a more playful structure. Again, we are at a childcare at the end of the day, so we are adding just dashes of colors, throughout the window trims. And the next one, please. Other than that, yeah, it's we got an S roof tile. And the next one, please. Wood windows are in an espresso tint. Next one, please. And the lighting elements that were being selected, which are, of course, dark sky compliant. And again, consistent with the mission style and with what's happening next door. Next, please. And some of the features that we're using also for lighting at the exteriors, at the parking and sidewalks.
Doesn't look like.
And that's my presentation. I think that Frank should be on site already. I don't know, Frank, if you want to add.
Thank you. That button, okay. Hi, Frank Thompson. So I am the developer for all of the adjacent properties. This particular one, at the point that we start construction, would transfer to Communify, the nonprofit that serves Head Start facilities throughout the county. So they're excited about this project and the concept. I think Pablo's done a good job of capturing what we need in terms of the space and scale for the children. The capacity of the center is 49 students. That's the maximum capacity. And for a number of reasons, the age group served has trended to be younger and younger lately, partly because the public schools have the pre-K. So the Head Start population has gotten to be a little bit younger. So a little bit more infant care than what we would see in other child care centers. And also, I believe the Communify staff is available for any questions. I don't know if they want to make a presentation or not, but at any rate, so this does really fit into, I wouldn't call it a campus, but there is an overall theme, which I think ties well with the existing shopping center. I mean, you're familiar with it. The existing shopping center had gotten pretty old and tired looking, but the current owner took and washed it, surprisingly. I mean, pressure washed the roof, and suddenly a tile roof appeared that was all dark, and the place looks a lot better. He fixed up the windows, painted. It really, I think it sets a nice pattern that we intend to hook into with Brisa Encina, which is the 49-unit apartment building to the south and east. So that one is almost ready to go. And then across to the west between us and the former shopping service center was the taller 2- and 3-story building that we showed you. So I do think that the elements here and the colors, site plan, all work together nicely and will really create a true center for Mission Hills. If there's any questions or things I missed that I can help you with. Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'll stay handy.
All right. Is there any comments from the board?
I do have a few comments. Can we go back to the elevation sheet? I understand what you guys are trying to do here with the modules and architecture and how and blending it back with the style and characteristics of the adjacent buildings. But this feels a little bit Hollywood set to me. I think it looks like it's just stuck on and without any continuity between the main building and the associated design elements. Particularly there in the front where you have the upper, I wouldn't call it a gable, but sort of a sloped parapet. There was some tile on top of it. That just feels really stuck onto me. I would suggest a little bit more study, maybe increasing the parapet in behind, say the element there on the, I guess that's the east elevation. Rather than stepping it down, I think if you raise that carpet, it might help that conceal against the building. The little entry element there. But additionally, I think it's the north elevation. The way that just feels totally stuck on to me. I think where you're going is probably good, but I think you just need to integrate into the main building a little bit better. And the light fixtures, again, I don't normally want to comment on light fixtures, but they seem inconsistent with each other. The street light type of fixture there is very different than the more boxy wall-mounted bracket or sconce fixture. Maybe just a little bit more review on that. And my experience is that when you can see the side lenses of these fixtures, they're not really night sky, but perhaps I'm wrong on that. Materials, colors, I'm okay with that. I think that's moving in the right direction. The little furred bulkhead wall, I think, is a good addition. I just think you just need to study the Hollywood set style a little bit more. Thank you.
Can you please repeat what the comment on the north elevation was? I got on the east elevation that the entry element should be studied.
Yeah, the north elevation is again similar to the east elevation where it feels just like a little bit like a Hollywood set. So as you're looking at that drawing there from the east side, which is on the right is the north elevation there, the rear parapet, which is shaped like a gable, I think that just needs a little bit more study. Just kind of feels like it's planted on the edge of the building. You just integrate it into the architecture a little bit better. I'm sure that the architect can figure that one out. So, and my only suggestion on the east side was maybe look at the parapet a little bit. Maybe the parapet should step up behind that gable element rather than drop down behind it. Might have a little bit better transition.
I'm curious about the colored windows. Can we look at that again? And maybe explain that a little bit more, what the intention is there? Because the way it was presented, it sounds like all of the windows on the outside are going to be colored different colors, which to show playfulness, I don't get it. I think it's very confusing. I don't think it's going to age well. And if anything is going to make this stand out as very, very different, it's going to be those colors. Playfulness, they're going to walk in, they drive in, they walk in, the playfulness should be inside, not on the outside. Just a thought.
Can we look at the color chart again, please, Teresa? So you have 3 different window trims. Is that what the orange, the green, and the purple one? Could you show us?
I'm sorry, if we could switch to the elevations, that's where you can see them better. You might need to zoom in.
I mean, to be honest, I would want to see those on the elevations to see what they look like. I mean, they're there, but you can't really see them very well. I know. Well, there it is. Yeah. Well, you can see that that's going to be a little peculiar looking.
Yeah, more consistency would probably improve the overall.
You like it?
No.
I don't like it.
I'm not really happy with the vehicular circulation either, but we talked about that in the past.
Yeah. I remember that discussion.
Yeah.
So your comment would be study the tricolors on the windows?
Maybe simplify.
It looks like more than 3 colors. 1, 2.
There are five colors in the color board listed as window trim.
Yeah. So just to make it easy then, is it your recommendation that we'd switch back to a more traditional and just go with the darker espresso color and so a little bit more formal building?
Well, not necessarily we don't want to select the color for you, but I think consistency in the color would be an advantage.
Okay, consistency, all right.
If
I
you
got
want to
it.
go with the turquoise or the blue or whatever, I mean, that's your decision. But I think, as you pointed out, that it should be just more consistent. It's a
Okay.
small building, so having a mosaic finish on the windows doesn't really add to the architecture, in my
Okay.
opinion, anyway.
Great.
I mean, to be honest, the overall look, as I'm seeing in the elevations, I lived in New Mexico for many years, and this looks more like southern New Mexico rather than Mission style to me. I'm not saying that there's anything particularly wrong with that, but it's, if we're looking at trying to make this fit in with the rest of the community, the elevations of the surrounding buildings don't reflect this at all.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
Okay. Thank you. Any other comments?
It looks like the landscape plan hasn't changed at all, so I would say my comments from the previous meeting still stand.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I didn't notice that before. That's probably because it's flat behind it for drainage.
Mr. Chairman, I was just commenting, it looks like there's a slight slope to the roof line on the southern roof line looks, I guess they're modulars, right? So it's going to drain to the, yeah. Yeah.
So you got a valley down the middle.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I would also agree with Member Reese on the Hollywood type set of the faux gable or the parapet gables, and on both the east and the north sides. I would also ask it to take a look at that. You give it, I don't know, some depth, some width.
Yeah.
And,
Better integration.
yeah, and how you would even attach it to that modular. I know you guys showed that detail, but that might be a challenge there. Anyway, that's my comment.
Thank you. I just wanted to reiterate the same thing. The only thing that I really noticed was the fact that that one element just didn't seem like it blended in with the rest of the building. I appreciate the applicant's desire to screen the building with the landscaping the way they have it shown in probably full-grown view. Looked really nice. Circulation for the cars is going to be a little trying at sometimes, but I also appreciate the fact that this isn't a school where they all come in at the same time and they all leave at the same time. It's scattered out throughout the day based on people's needs. So I think that's going to mitigate a little bit of the impact of that rush hour traffic kind of idea. Hopefully it does. Appreciate the need for the community and the intent to try and blend it in with the surrounding buildings as well. I'm of the same opinion that I don't think you need so many colors on the outside of the building, but the final colors are definitely up to you. Other than that, it looks like you guys are trying to do a project that will make the community better sometime in the future. No more comments from the board?
Can we see the main entry again, the elevation?
Next sheet. To the bottom. Upper left. Upper left, yes.
Just a thought, the windows being, again, I'm not being facetious here, but the notion of the playful colors. Kids, the little kids that will be going here, it seems like something inviting at the entry at eye level, something of an artistic nature, something that would actually appeal to a child walking up to the front and seeing something welcoming to a child. I'm not quite sure what that would be. Maybe it's something painted on, maybe it's something applied. that would seem more of an opportunity to, to welcome to the space rather than the colors, which are just kind of distracting. But there's quite a bit of space, particularly on the left side, to do something that might really enhance the experience of welcome.
Is that sign painted or is that, how is it being created?
Well, it's a stucco, a painted stucco, right? So there would be opportunity. I'm thinking of something like a tile area. Are you thinking that type, or some kind of a little sculpture? We wouldn't have a lot of depth there because it's an entry porch and people might congregate there a little bit while they're waiting to go in. So it couldn't stick out that far, but like a wall applied. I'm thinking maybe even a fountain on the wall. Is that?
Sounds like that, a fountain on the wall, unless it was operational. And even if it is operational, then you're going to be looking at additional expense and maintenance. I'm just talking about something of an, I think the more I think of it, an artistic nature that would appeal to the eye of a child. And that can be a mural.
Right.
Maybe you could introduce the colors with some, balloons.
Exactly.
Painted on the wall.
Exactly.
I mean,
Just
any
something.
number of things that I think your
Got it.
creative staff can come up with some great
Yeah.
I
ideas.
was just trying to broaden, get a little more guidance from you. So, okay, well, that's very helpful.
And that would be a way to maybe introduce some of the colors that you were looking
Exactly.
to try to introduce.
Right.
You know,
Okay.
some bright colored balloons or I don't know, whatever, but birds maybe even, or some, I don't know, whatever, but
Okay.
I
well,
think that's going to be
cool. Thanks.
stimulating.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you. And
Nice colored pots or something.
Yeah, that's another option.
Tile wainscoting there or something.
right.
Any number.
Columns even.
Yeah, I think we simplified the columns. I don't remember exactly. They were a little more complicated the first time we came, but I mean, certainly that I agree with you. That could be a possibility.
I
Okay.
mean, you might be able to take that taller background parapet type roof element off, float the standard parapet up a little bit higher through there maybe and create something that way. In the background, it would look less stuck on if you did something to that
Right.
effect. In other words, give it some background, to rather than just another element that sort of feels a little bit misplaced. But I think you're going in the right direction. I just think it just needs a little bit
Okay.
of enhancement.
But not so that changed parapet wouldn't be decorated. It's the,
No, just,
okay, got it.
just the typical parapet could be bounced up there or, and that, I think you mentioned the New Mexico style. I mean, that would be much more in line with that kind of a look.
Interesting.
I mean, it's really hard to blend this smaller one-story building with this three-story monstrosity sitting next to it, that's supposed to be in the same architectural vernacular. And it's very difficult because that wouldn't have ever been built that way, but but I think the way you're going is great.
But,
Thank you.
comment again, the front door, is that the only door that's being painted the blue?
The back door
No,
was too.
the back, there's an exit that is inset in the building that's blue on the backside. So,
But this is the main entry,
yes.
because I just Googled colors of welcome.
Oh,
And you might want to take a look because it's sort of kind of interesting.
Okay.
Dark blue is not one of them.
okay,
Okay.
good. I think we got the idea. Thank you. This has been helpful. Very good.
No more comments from the board?
No.
Like to open the floor to comments from the audience?
Okay, thank you. So we do have two speakers. We'll start with Joy Hoover.
Hello, good morning, everyone. I'm here to speak for my neighborhood. We've heard a lot from the developer and his plans for the neighborhood. I'd just like to say that they've changed the zoning laws. This is not the original zoning that was in the neighborhood when we bought our house. They've done it at a state level. I'm aware that you can't do anything about that. But this project is subject to full review. So I'd like you to really take a look at the traffic concerns with this project. the last time I was here, unfortunately, I missed the beginning of this presentation, but the last time I was here, they were just going to make a left onto Burton Mesa coming out of here. I believe that's going to create a traffic nightmare for our neighborhood. Speaking of which, we negotiated with Frank Thompson in good faith to create a smaller footprint for Brice Encina. And he reduced the number of units from 70, I believe, to 50, only to have him start another huge project across the street when the state again changed the zoning laws. I would ask that the board deny this project due to its effects on the existing neighborhood. It will add traffic concerns and further erode the neighborhood. They are relying on a traffic study based on the original Brice Encina project. I feel he's added so much to that since then that we really need to take another look at traffic here. Also, Head Start is about to lose its federal funding. From a federal level, they have concluded that the program doesn't work. It doesn't improve outcomes for small children, and I think it should also be not denied because of that. But it's just what Frank is doing to our neighborhood has caused a lot of consternation. I have yet to meet one person in the neighborhood who would like him to go ahead with his plans. I realize that there's not much you can do about it. I appreciate you changing the colors because that just seems ridiculous. But I would really like you to take a look at the traffic. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Excuse me, for the next speaker, ask the planner, Shannon, is this project going on to Planning Commission or has it been there already or?
Land use permit under the Board of Supervisors ordinance for childcare centers. So because it's 50 students, it would just be a land use permit once once the approved subdivision, like there was a tentative map approved, once that records, just needs a land use permit. And just to give some context on the timeline too, while the board saw it in 2023, that the land use permit application didn't come in until recently. So planner was just assigned and, you know, was reviewing the project, but just to give you some context, it's fairly recent that the LUP has come in.
So the roads department will still be reviewing the traffic circulation and as will fire?
Yep. Yeah, and they have seen it in the scheme of like, well, you saw Pablo showed that sheet that showed everything together. They have, even as part of the map review, all the departments reviewed that circulation, but they will.
Because the circulation was a concern of this board back 2 years ago when we first looked at this project. And I mean, I think we all, I know I did express my concerns about that circulation, both the stacking and also egress and exiting from the site are potentially problematic. Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you.
And then we have Karen up next.
Karen Hallenstein. I was born and raised in Lompoc. I echo the concerns of Joy, and I have been working with the community in both Upper and Lower Mission Hills for quite a while, and I have not found one resident who supports any of the development planned for Alex Uribe and Associates property. What we are witnessing here is an attempt, a very, very strong attempt at a dystopian money wash. Now, if you look at the property itself, with the amount of extremely dense development that they're planning in this area, does not fit at all with the surrounding community, even with the buildings that are already on the property. And if you actually go to the site and envision in your mind, like if the developer were to put up those wire frames that they put up to show people what's going to be there, you will be shocked. And the parking and traffic nightmare it will cause for the corner of Rucker Road and Burton Mesa Boulevard, it will literally turn Mission Hills into an armpit. Literally turn it into an armpit. Now, you have to ask yourself, why? Why is everyone involved in the direction of where multiple extremely dense developments will go? Why are they demanding that all of these projects go on this property owned by Alex Uribe and his associates? Because it seems like if you wanted legitimate services that would be provided like this in the area, you would make it amenable to the area and tenable to the area. So this isn't just a bunch of NIMBYs. These are people who have lived in the area for a long time, who are actually envisioning in their mind what's going to be there and going, whoa, why is this happening this way? Pablo Romero, the architect, he brought up some things like they are establishing serious connections, which is true. They are using character to hide their development within a rural scene. It's almost like they know it doesn't really belong there. The parking and the traffic nightmare that would be caused by having so much activity of people living and working and delivering children into that area, you really have to go to the site itself and envision in your mind how it's supposed to work. And when you do, it's shocking. So we really I suggest that everyone take a pause and look at how this is going to actually benefit the community when ComUnify has a huge new office in Lompoc. They have public office hours listed on their door that they're supposed to be open 9 to 5, but they are never open. They keep their doors locked. They keep their doors in Lompoc locked all the time, which is very concerning for a nonprofit because they're supposed to be transparent. And the way they jumped on into this project is also very suspect. It's dystopian. So thank you very much for allowing me to make these comments to you publicly today.
Thank you for your comments. Is there anybody else that would like to speak on this item?
That is all we have for public comment.
Thank you. They are agendized for preliminary review. Is the board ready to make a motion on this so that they can move forward?
I don't think I'm ready to grant preliminary at this point. I think they need to study the elevations a little bit more.
Okay, seeing no motion to move forward on that, I would ask the applicant to take the board's comments and come back to us with a little bit more comprehensive, more finished kind of plan, and then we can keep moving from there.
Also, and to implement the comments that were made about the landscaping so that I see what it actually would be like. Okay.
All right. Thank you. Then there's no further action that we'll take right now, but we'll look forward to seeing you guys back in the near future.
Yeah, work with your planner. I mean, they're your key to getting things moving forward. And okay. Thank you.
All right. The second item on our agenda is 23 bar 00173 Verizon at Rucker Road. I believe it's a water tower, if I'm not mistaken. Is the applicant available?
Good morning, everyone. Yes, I am here.
Who's I'm here?
Sorry, Armando Montez with Sequoia Deployment Services. I am an agent for the applicant Verizon Wireless.
Thank you, Armando. Please present your presentation to us.
Sure. As you know, this has been presented a couple of different times. Just a quick recap. Verizon is proposing a new wireless telecommunications facility at the southwest corner of Purisma Road and Recker Road in Lompoc. This will be a 50-foot full water tank within a 900 square foot lease area at the base of the tower. From our last meeting, we took a lot of the notes very seriously and tried our best to incorporate them into our design. First, I want to start off with saying we added the 10 privacy slats to the chain link fence for privacy. You could see that change in sheet A5 of the drawings. You can't see them, but I believe if we scroll through these photo simulations, yeah, there are 10 slats added to the fencing area. Let's see, we also added greater detail about the service lights that we are proposing. We added some notes to sheet A5 noting that the service lights will be manually operated and we'll have a timer function. Just to reiterate, the service lights will only be used if in the event of like nighttime service work. Other than that, they will remain off. Most importantly, we took a lot of the comments about the proportions of the tank and its design. Challenged my team to, really put their best foot forward here. I think one of the comments we received was this tank looked like a lampshade on legs. So definitely wanted to come back with something a little bit better. We added a platform to the tank. As you can see there underneath the faux tank, there's a platform. We also added a small hat to the top to kind of give it a little bit more of a tapered look, more of a natural water tank look. In doing so with this, new design or upgrade design, I should say, I believe the legs are going to be slightly wider in terms of their dimensions. I don't have that specifically in front of me. But it kind of gives it more of a sturdy look and it's not so flimsy, I guess you would say, as in the previous design. We also added details about the colors of the tank, and you can see those notes as well, I believe. Let me see on sheet. On sheet A5 as well, we do call out the tank colors. The legs will be a dark brown. The faux wood will be a Sherman-Williams drift of mist and a half calf brown. And the center pipe, it's going to be an evergreen by Sherman-Williams as well. I think that note was given us the last time, going with the dark green to kind of blend with the trees in the background. Yeah, this is our current design. I'm open to any questions you guys may have.
Do you have a color sample board of those colors you're just mentioning?
Yes. So if you go to the, there we go. Yep, that guy. If we scroll down, you'll see there should be a color sheet in there.
Is it this one or?
Yeah, it should be that one there. Let's see, scroll. There it is.
Okay.
It's going to be something more like the one on the right. Bus.
Yeah, so it's definitely something a little bit more similar to the one on the right.
Okay. Again, I have a question for the planner. Shannon, what is the process status of this? Does it have to go to planning commission or has it been?
It has not been to a decision maker. Oh man, they changed the telecom ordinance, so some things that had to go to the PC before now just go to the ZA, and I do not remember if this was affected by that. And Soren is the planner, but he's got a sinus infection, so he's out this morning. It's one of the two discretionary decision makers, and it has not gone yet.
So will they be reviewing the, this overall location and the general need for this tower to be in this area?
Yes.
Because it seems like there might be, well, my humble opinion, might be better options of location that would be perhaps better coverage, but I mean, this is not my expertise in terms of radio signals, but it seems like it's a relatively low spot in the overall valley topography. But having said that, we'll move forward. I know it's not within our purview.
Yeah, there'll be an alternative site analysis and also rationale from the applicant regarding, essentially the need that it's addressing.
Okay.
From
Great.
a service perspective.
Yeah, great.
Can we just have a little bit of clarity on the different colors to be used on the structure? It looks like there's 3.
Well, those are existing other structures, I believe.
Sorry?
These are existing.
Yeah, no,
examples.
but I mean, the color palette that was shown, it looks like that the center column, basically the pipe down the middle is green, the part of it is brown, part of it is, and I'm just curious why it would be variegated at all and not just all one color.
I think the board had made a comment earlier. I believe Jim made a comment about changing the color of the pipe down the middle to something that kind of blended in with the colors of the surrounding eucalyptus, if I remember correctly.
That's correct.
Wasn't there some photo sims in the package?
I thought there was. I
think we went by them. Yeah, I think there were.
Yeah.
Gotta wait.
Let's give Teresa just a minute. She'll pull that up for us.
I also wanted to make one more comment, I'm sorry, about the redesign we've done here. The tank itself is 2 feet longer to kind of match the center photo here. I know that was kind of a design you guys were favoring the last time. So the tank isn't so stubby at the top. It's definitely a little bit longer. We're not increasing the height. It's just the length of the tower is a little bit longer.
What picture do you want me to go to?
The close-up of the sim, there was a picture. I remember we saw a picture of the close-up of the sim of the tank. Maybe it was just that one. Maybe that's what I was thinking of. That one, do it.
This one?
The one, go down one, right? That one. I think that's what I was thinking of, that one right there.
Yeah. That was...
What is the height of this tower again?
It's 50 feet.
What's the elevation delta between the road from the current pier view to the top of the tank? Or actually not to the top, I'm sorry, to ground level. How low is the ground off the street right there?
You mean how much does it drop?
Yeah. It seems to me that that area is maybe 9 to 10 feet below the road.
I'd say that was pretty accurate. I mean, I've driven
So
by
the-
that thing probably thousands.
So the tower.
We
approximately
have
8
the
feet
top of
above
the
the road.
grade of the road is 110 feet, and then the low grade is 85 feet.
So it's 110.
110 to 85,
25 feet. Then.
25 feet. So that tower is only going to be 25 feet above the road? Is that, it doesn't seem like there was that much delta in that area.
Is there?
So the finished grade, sorry, the finished grade from where we're at is going to be at 92 feet, and the high grade, which is the street side, the road, is 110 feet, and those are depicted in the drawings. If you go to sheet A1-1. Down one more. Sorry, the sheet to the 5th page. Yeah, there you go.
Which
There you go. That one, that's the one you want.
makes it even a more surprising location, given that the effective height is barely 30 feet.
Was walking home.
Well, that's not, I mean, our job's not really
Can they just go through previous comments and explain how they just addressed that?
Would the applicant go through in order the previous comments and just let the board know how you address them in a brief, quick manner? Would that be possible?
Yeah, of course.
really
Okay, so last time we spoke on 425, the board asked to have us put privacy slats around the chain link fence, which have now been added. That's on sheet A5. You can see that. They asked, you guys asked for greater detailing about the service lights that we are proposing. On sheet A5 as well, there is a note detailing that the lights will be on a timer and manually operated. They will remain off the entire time, only in the event of night work. The tank proportions, I believe the last comments were the tank itself is too short. It looked like a lampshade on legs. It was just a tank and the legs. So what we've done is we've added the platform to the bottom of the tank. We've made the tank taller, and we've added a top or a hat to the tank itself to kind of give it more of a realistic look. And we've also added details about the colors of the tank to the drawings as well.
There's no signage. You guys don't have any plans for any signage on this thing? It's just a water tank, right?
Just the water tank, yeah. We reached out to the landlord. They didn't have anything for us to paint on the side.
So one of the comments, comment number 2, I remember that Jim made was basically from one of these pictures, the I don't know what you call it, the side view of the thing. He was talking about the actual dimension of the legs, the material made for the legs, and he said it seemed kind of small, spindly. Did you guys address that in some way? Do you have detailed dimensioning of the legs for the tank that make it look like could actually hold up a water tank?
Yeah, so I believe we mentioned the last time that the legs are 4 inches in diameter. We do get these specs from the actual vendors themselves, and they do pass structurals.
Sure, it will hold it up, but there's no water in it.
No, I'm not, I wasn't asking you about whether it would actually hold the tower up. I was asking if it was in keeping with something that looked like a water tank. You know, the size and dimension of the legs for a tank that size. Is it in keeping with what a water tank would actually be, not with a cell tower? I think that was Jim's question and concern.
Yeah, understood. I know I don't have the exact spec, but I know the legs will be technically a little bit wider out because we have the platform now. So it won't look as slender as it did before. It's very slight, but it's definitely going to be a little bit wider. But in terms of the legs itself, don't believe they're going to be any thicker.
Any more comments from the board?
Well, I think if it was rendered a little bit differently on the drawing, you know, a little bolder lines for the legs and cross bracing, a little lighter lines for the center pipe, and it would probably show better. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, my speaker's on.
I only had two comments. One was the elevation of the tank for actual service. It's a little bit out of our purview, obviously, but I would really ask the applicant and the county to work together to make sure that all that's going to help in service for the cell phone stuff. And take a look at alternate sites just in case there is something that's better and better suited for the actual service. I know service is kind of spotty around that area since I travel through there quite regularly. And the other thing that it just doesn't read well below the tank, appreciate the changes in the dimension of the tank and the roof and the platform. It does look more like a water tank. Do appreciate that. And the efforts to address the rest of the concerns from the board from the previous meeting. The only thing I can see is that after having seen many water tanks, real water tanks, the substructure would read a little better if it had a little bit more dimension to it, even without using much more material. It doesn't need much strength, obviously, but something that was a little bit of more dimension so that it looked more like a water tank would probably look a little nicer over time. Other than that, a single pole, monopole would probably be a better option than trying to go through all the trouble to hide it with a water tank that there's no water tanks in the general area and no real call for it. So I'm one of those people that thinks that functionality is somewhat more important sometimes than just the attempt at architectural cover-up. And a lot of these towers that they're putting in, I know people say, oh, we don't want to see them, but there's a million telephone poles in the area and nobody bothers to complain about a telephone pole. They wouldn't really complain about just a monopole either. So it kind of just fades into the background over time. And so if it happened to suit the needs of the community better to have a monopole that was taller, that covered more area, it seems like that would be more appropriate. But if you want to build a water tank, then we're not here to try to stop you from building a water tank, but we would like it to look like a real water tank, if that's your intent. So the only comment I basically got is that the substructure still looks like it doesn't have any real dimension to it. So.
Just one final comment, and then know that this is not necessarily in our purview, but we have suggested on more than one occasion that this be relocated to a different site that would be better for the functionality of the tower and also for the community. It's very clear that there is a great deal of community concern over this particular tower. It's has been evidenced by comments each time we've looked at this. And it doesn't seem like that has been taken into consideration as much as perhaps needs to be. And that's, again, not in our purview, but just an observation.
Any further comments from the board? I'd like to open the floor to comments from the public.
Okay, so we do have 2 public comments. We'll start with Karen, followed by Joy.
Thank you very much for allowing me to make these public comments today. I am here on behalf of the property owner and the homeowner at 1335 Purissima Road. And I'm going to make a quick comment and then I'm going to read her statement that she wrote herself. We've studied what the common consensus is for other communities in California, and they have established like a safe distance for these types of 5G antennas, and it is 500 meters from schools and residential populated areas. The proposed site is 100 meters from the porch of Joni Neeson's home. That's a very serious situation because it proposes that should this be built, it would be the closest 5G tower to any residential structure in the whole state. That needs to be considered. Also, this is Joni Neeson's statement. I do not approve the installation of a 5G tower within the horizon line and less than 300 feet away from my front door and porch of my country home. My 18-acre property is located right across the road from this proposed project. I currently do not have Wi-Fi or internet connectivity services, nor do I want them, due to the harmful effects 5G frequency has on my personal health, my visiting friends and family, my animals, and the surrounding wildlife. The proposed location of this tower would be blocked from accessibility by many near hills, only providing limited service, being in a non-strategic location on their vast property. The hillside of mine and the La Purissima Mission Preserve will obstruct the range of this service severely. The proposed 5G tower is located on an agricultural preserve, which is controlled by the Land Trust of Santa Barbara County. How does this tower preserve agricultural land? The Land Trust ethics and practices, according to their own words, prides itself on a history of professional standards and ethical practices. I have lived here for 26 years, and my family has owned this property since 1978. It is a fact there are 2 40-acre parcels across the road, and the owners have way further away and better options for a 5G tower location to be built for service, rather than right in front of mine and my neighbors' homes. And Joni likes to point out also that in one of the handouts she gave you, she's indicated on their map where residential structures are, and this is to scale. I have rights as a human being to the peaceful and harmonious enjoyment of my home, and I have been harmed by unethical practices from commercial farmers on the same piece of land in recent past. Not only were they growing off-season, non-sustainable crops that were never grown there before, particularly strawberries, all year round, but the growers tortured the whole valley with their outdated blow-and-go propane frost fans and the non-sustainable practice of continually overspraying chemicals to maximize their industrial crop needs, without any regard whatsoever for the neighboring residents or natural environment preservation. These disturbing commercial practices drove away all of our natural bird species for the whole year. All the birds left, and we didn't hear them at all because of the frost fans before. So that type of attitude is what we're very concerned about because we live there. This tower is an aggressive and harmful proposition which only financially benefits the owners of the land who promised it to be preserved for agriculture. I see no real benefits to our local community and no trust when anyone would want to destroy the only view I have of the western sunset from my home porch, when there really are other viable options never explored but have been suggested. Thank you.
I provided some, last time we were here, we talked about
Can you
non-ionized.
please state your name to
I'm sorry.
onto the record, please?
My name is Joy Hoover. I'm here again to try and address safety issues in my neighborhood of Mission Hills. The last time we were here, we talked about non-ionizing radiation, and I've really kind of looked into it. I've provided some documentation on it for the board. I gave it to the secretary. It's the fact that, I don't know, this water tower, it's not what it looks like to anyone in the neighborhood or to Karen's friend that she is speaking on behalf of. It's what's inside it and what it's giving off. I'm just going to read you a little bit from this document. U.S. mobile operators have been unable to get insurance to cover liabilities related to damages from long-term exposure to radio frequency emissions for over a decade. Wireless and non-ionizing electromagnetic radiation are defined as a type of pollution by wireless companies themselves. According to page 10 of the Verizon Total Mobile Protection Plan, pollution is defined as the discharge, dispersal, seepage, migration, or escape of pollutants. Pollutants mean any solid, liquid, gaseous, or thermal irritant or contaminant, including smoke, vapor, soot, fumes, acid, alkalis, chemicals, artificially produced electric fields, magnetic fields, electromagnetic fields, sound waves, microwaves, and all artificially produced ionizing and non-ionizing radiation and/or waste. Wireless companies warn their shareholders of this potential future risk related to radio frequency radiation exposure, but they do not warn the people exposed to emissions from their products and infrastructure. Corporate investor warnings by Verizon are contained in annual reports filed on Form 10-K with the Securities and Exchange Commission. Verizon stated in its 10-K for 2022 under the section Legal and Regulatory Risks that, quote, "We are subject to a substantial amount of litigation which could require us to pay significant damages or settlements. We are subject to a substantial amount of litigation and claims in arbitration, including but not limited to shareholder derivative suits, patent infringement laws, wage and hour class actions, contract and commercial claims, blah, blah, blah." This is, in addition, our wireless business also faces personal injury and wrongful death lawsuits relating to alleged health effects of wireless phones or radio frequency transmitters. We may incur significant expenses in defending these lawsuits. In addition, we may be required to pay significant awards or settlements. Companies clearly inform shareholders that companies may incur significant financial losses related to non-ionizing electromagnetic fields. Safety is not assured. Please note that in several countries, governments have set policies to protect children, pregnant women, and medically fragile persons by classifying areas with homes, hospitals, and schools as sensitive areas. This is right across the street from homes. I don't know how you can approve this in good conscience.
Thank you for your comments. Just like to let the speakers know that as a board, we are an architectural board only. And however, we appreciate the information that you bring us, and it is enlightening. We are only allowed to make judgment on a project based on architectural elements only. So it's out of our purview for those things, and we encourage you guys to go to the other county meetings to express your concerns at planning and development and the supervisors meetings, and make sure that they hear you guys. So we appreciate you coming today and talking in front of us. Any other comments? Do we have any? They're only agendized for further conceptual, so there's no action needed to be taken today. So if there's no other comments, then the only other thing I can do is ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Well, how do you want them to return? For further conceptual or for preliminary? Once conceptual is complete, they be able to go to the decision maker. So that's just want to double check.
Shannon, the decision maker would be the zoning administrator or somebody, or the plan?
It's either the ZA or the planning commission. I'm not 100% sure in this instance, but.
And they would ultimately be the authority that would review the site location, the need, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes, and because it's a discretionary project, the plan should essentially be, the design should be at a point where you'd be comfortable granting preliminary and final approval, but you can't do so until the decision maker has acted on the project. So if there's still changes you want to see, they should probably return for further conceptual. If you're content with this design going to the decision maker, then they should return for preliminary and final or final.
I think the only comment was that it had any design characteristic was just the substructure. There's nothing else as far as design that we were interested in. So if they could address that, I guess they could return for preliminary.
I think that's all.
So I would encourage them to study that element a little bit and then return for preliminary review.
About the appropriateness of the site location and the adjacency to residences.
Can you turn your mic on, please?
We did have that comment in there originally about the site location and the general appropriateness of the adjacency to the residences, but I realize that that's not within our purview. But hopefully that would be something considered by the zoning administrator or planning commission.
That's clear in the notes and it follows in the file. So that goes to the decision maker.
Okay.
So we don't really need to discuss it anymore.
No, we don't.
That point's been made, but I'd be fine with him going on to preliminary because they've addressed all of our concerns.
Yeah.
Seems like the board is unanimous in returning for preliminary review.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Shannon. Anything else we need to do before we adjourn the meeting?
That is all. Can I get a motion?
Three of them? Four? Second? Second. All in favor? Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.